Welcome to Roadmap, how to take 3 listings a week until you're ready for more. Each week we interview a great agent who is consistently taking 2, 3, 4 listings each week. In this case, maybe more today. And we have an exciting guest today. We encourage you to take notes and apply as much of their knowledge as quickly as you can. And then use the copycat principle. If you're watching on Vulcan 7, actually, if you're watching on Facebook or Vulcan 7, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions during the broadcast. Before I introduce my guest, let me introduce my co-host from San Diego, Carly Hathaway. That's carlyhathaway.com. Hi, Carly. How's the real estate business?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Ren. The real estate business is great. It's a hot market. It's definitely a seller's market.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we've got, we haven't done the Vulcan 7 Challenge in a couple weeks. Let's do that, and then we'll introduce our guest. So the Vulcan 7 Challenge, as you remember, is once a month. Shadow a great agent in another market that's taking 2, 3, 4 listings a week. Either drive 3 or 4 hours to their market or get on a plane, even better. That's a lot more fun. Get on a plane, get there in the afternoon, have dinner with them if they're available, get to their office early, shadow them, take notes, write down everything, record, and then learn as much as you can, have lunch with them, and then head back home. Do that once a month, and then by the end of the 12 months, you'll have 12 amazing friends who are doing very well, and you will become one of them. That's the Vulcan 7 Challenge. Can't beat that. And that has made many hugely successful people at a much more accelerated rate. So I want to remind everybody first that we're simulcasting the show on the private lead gen group on Facebook. They have 47,000 members, so we have a large audience there today as well. And we'll be pausing for a commercial message during the show as a thank you to the lead gen folks. Let's welcome our guest today from St. George, Utah. What a great place to live that would be, or to have a second home. Mr. John Ames.
Hey, welcome, everybody. John. How you doing?
Good.
Hi, John. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you?
Really good. Thanks for being on today. We're so excited.
That's great. And we need to help get people to buy a home there. How's the best way for them to reach you, John, if they want to get, a lot of the successful people that watch this show need a second home up there, or they may want to send a client up there.
So St. George, Utah is one of the top 10 destination retirement communities in the United States right now. If you want to contact the Ames team, you can go to amesteamutah.com, amesteamutah.com, or you can email us at amesteam@sgremax.com, or call our 800 number, 800-206-1003.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's great. Good. So I think everybody should do so. Everybody that's thinking about even moving up there should give them a call, reach out, go to their website, learn as much as you can, and do some business with them, because they're going to spend 30 minutes with us and share what they do and how they do it. So the least we can do is buy a house from them. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good deal.
The phone's already ringing. Thank you.
There we go. That was quick. That was quick. It'd be like the shopping channel. You don't need to see the property. You'll see the property after you close.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
So now how big is St. George? How big is that town?
The city proper is a little over 100,000, and then about another 20 to 25,000 in the rural outlying areas. So we're about 125 to 135,000 population here in the greater St. George area.
Awesome. And I know how successful you are, so I'm guessing your percentage of the market share there is a little on the high side. Have you ever measured that?
Yep. We average between 7 and 10% of the market on a regular basis.
Isn't that incredible?
That's amazing.
How many agents are you competing with there?
There are about 1,100 agents here in St. George. Mm-hmm. And about, the same old rule, the top 20% do 80% of the transactions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And so when you say I'm assuming you have a team?
I do have a team.
Okay. What does your team consist of?
Okay. So I have 3 full-time assistants. Mm-hmm. I have a listing coordinator that handles everything prior to actually receiving an offer. Then I have an escrow closing coordinator, and she's my general manager, operations manager for the entire team. She's been with me for 15 years. And then I have a full-time operations manager for our buyer agent team, all of our web marketing, all of our outbound mailing campaigns, and oversight of the buyer's agents on a daily basis.
Amazing. Good for you.
Wonderful. So how many transactions can you do with a group like that?
Last year we closed over 300, and this year our goal is to go over 400.
Nice.
That's exciting. That is fantastic.
And it's only the end of
what's a home
January.
sell for there? What's a typical price?
Average price here in the St. George market is a little under 300,000. Right
Okay.
around 280,000 was the average last year. But I need to mention to you one more thing is the fact that I have one more person on my team who is a listing person, full-time listing agent, and that's my son Chase, which you'll get to talk to later because he is an all-day user of Vulcan as well.
Great.
Oh, good.
I love that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. You want to give us a nickel tour of that place?
Yeah, sure.
John was showing it to us earlier.
Let me grab my
set up.
let me grab my camera here. So my team, we are a Mike Ferry centric team.
Gotcha.
The entire team's trained by Mike Ferry, and we are a phone centric team. So I'm going to show you. I have my own call center,
Wow.
and as I pan around, you'll see my team right now. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people in here prospecting right now.
Nice.
And this is what we do. We're either at an appointment or here in the call center. And then as well, let me summarize what our philosophy is. Can you see that?
Yes. Welcome to the
What's
mint.
it say, Ren?
Welcome to the mint.
Where
you make your dreams come
where you
true.
make absolutely.
That's
And
it.
then what does this one say, Ren?
The more you make, it disappeared. The more you make
The
something.
more you make.
The more you make.
The more you
The more you make, the more you make.
The more
Love
you make.
it.
Yep. And
Love
then you
it.
guys will like this one. This is a mirror we're looking at. What does that say?
It's a nice picture, though, isn't it?
It says, yeah. It says, meet the person who decides how much you make today.
I love it.
Love that.
And then the last one says, since the beginning of sales, the best learned if they wanted this, and it points to the gold bars, they need to spend more time with this.
That's
a
the first
telephone.
phone John ever used.
That's it.
So you really,
So,
really
cool.
base your entire business on calling, it seems.
Oh, absolutely. It is the
Nice.
only thing that we know where you can run your real estate business and have a predictable, repeatable income every single month.
Love it.
Fantastic. That's
Love
it.
it.
It's
So-
contact sport. Yep.
Yeah, good.
Yep,
So-
absolutely.
So majority of your closes, your listings, everything else come from calling. So tell us about kind of like your call schedule, who you like to call first, what time you get on the phones. Just give us like a typical day.
Okay. So a typical day is that we are here at 8 o'clock making our outbound phone calls. Chase and I will hit first things. We'll hit the expireds and canceled from that day.
Okay.
And I'll let Chase tell you about our follow-up program and how we do that on a daily basis. And then as well, we go from there to doing just listed, just sold phone calls.
Okay.
And we also contact all the Fizbos that come on the prior day or that day. We get them both. We get any Fizbo or expired we can possibly get. And Vulcan is the only one we found that does a great job of consolidating all of those on a daily basis for us. So it's really streamlined our operation, our daily outbound calling process.
Yeah.
Then we spend time during the day also doing past client phone calls. So that's our daily program. We're here at 8, and we are here. We spend the morning on the phones. Morning is money time, and we avoid appointments in the morning if we possibly can. And then we typically start heading out on our appointments anywhere from 11:30 or 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And from that time we're in listings or we're back here at the call center.
I imagine you have a fair amount of absentees where you're doing a lot of phone appointments.
So about 40% of our phone calls are non-local phone calls to people all over the United States. St. George is like the San Diego or the Rockies. So we have a lot of second home buyers here. So we're calling New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Denver, San Francisco, Montana, Colorado on a daily basis.
Nice, nice. So let me ask you this. So say you get, a bunch of expireds for that day that just got expired that day or that morning. How many times in that day are you going to call them if you're not getting a hold of them?
That is a great question. And I'm going to defer that one to Chase when he gets on the phone with you to talk about our follow-up program.
Okay.
But the most important thing is consistency in your daily outbound calling schedule. You have to dedicate time on a daily basis, and it's money time. And you don't let yourself get interrupted, and you don't do emails, and you don't take inbound phone calls. You push everything off because anything can wait 2 to 3 hours. This is your time. It's reserved for you, and you got to be protected.
Okay, I like it. You got to stay focused, no distractions.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'll make sure to ask Chad. Is that his name, Chaz or Chance?
Chase.
Chase. Okay.
Yep. Okay.
Cool. Okay, good. So you said you're you're trying to close 400 transactions this year, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's only towards the end of January, last day of January. Are you on track?
So we currently have 48 pending as of yesterday.
Nice.
We've taken 16 or 17 listings so far this month, and our goal is to take 220 listings this year.
Lovely. I think you'll do it for sure.
We will. Our office and our team is very much about can we, not can we or will we. It's the attitude of I will. What does it take? And to that point, with Vulcan, there's never a time where you don't know what I should do. If you're not on a listing appointment, if you're not out with a buyer, there's only one place you should be: in your office, on the phone, with your Vulcan database.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree.
So what do you have to do differently? So, you're going from 300 roughly transactions to 400. That's an extra 8 a month, a little over 8 a month. What strategy, what did you have to do to add another eight a month?
Great question. So Chase and I are coached by the Mike Ferry organization, as I mentioned, and we have 2 coaches that coach Chase and I. Both of us are in 2 coaching programs. So to that point, we talk about finding minutes in a day to find another 15 or 20 minutes to make outbound phone calls or to do lead follow-up on past expirers that we haven't been able to get in touch with. And then as well, we've dedicated ourselves this year to spend one more night a week for 2 to 3 hours and 2 Saturdays a month for 2 hours, and that will yield us another 100 transactions for the year.
Amazing. And when you do Saturdays, are you doing morning calls, afternoons? What do you find the best works on a Saturday?
We do both, so we'll switch it up to that point. If 2 of us are going to prospect on Saturday, one will come in and do the morning stuff, and one will come in and do the afternoon stuff. You typically on a weekday or an actual weekday, you'll catch more people home after 4 o'clock in the day.
Okay.
On the weekends, it's a mixed schedule, and I can't give you the magic formula for that one. But mid-morning, 9 to 11, and then afternoons, 3 to 4, because after 4 o'clock, a lot of people are headed out for dinners and that kind of thing. So typically in the afternoon, between 3 and 4 is a really good time.
So let me get this straight. So you're saying you're going to add 100 transactions a month, strictly by looking for the minutes in a day that that you can salvage from something you shouldn't have been doing. One more night a month of calls, 2 or 3 hours, and then 2 Saturdays, 2 whole Saturdays, 2 half Saturdays. So that's times 2, times each of you. So you're each going to bring in an extra four closings a month, each of you, by creating those efficiencies. Is that
yeah. Oh,
I know everybody
absolutely.
else would be like, well, I guess I need to sign up for Boomtown or something, where they would be looking for some magic thing or to buy AdWords, or they would be looking for something like. But you're just saying, I'm just going to hone this down to perfection. Do you take any time off, John?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we take great vacations. We last year we did 11 days in Israel. We did Europe. We did a couple of California trips. So we take our entire team, everyone on our team. This is important for all of you. Everyone on our team is supposed to schedule 4 vacations a year. And they're actually on our vacation board. And we also include pictures or destinations on there. So as people work during the year, both them and all the team members know. And as well, we want their families to know. Why isn't Dad here on Tuesday night for 2 hours? Why did Dad have to go in 3 hours on Saturday? Or why did Mom go out again on Wednesday afternoon? So my family knows we're going to hit it hard for 90 days, but here's where we're going on vacation. So our family and my spouse and our team is all committed to work when you work and play when you play, and don't mix the two up.
And John, I mean, and you don't have to fly coach.
No, we don't.
And secondly, when you look at this, you have people watching this right now that go, gosh, I'm working some of these Saturdays because I'm working the same hours he is, but I'm not taking 4 exotic vacations, flying first class a year, but they're working the buyer business. They're putting in the same amount of time as you are, maybe even more.
Maybe.
They don't get the vacation or the income.
Right.
So can you speak to the point of, because you and Chase, everything seems to be listing oriented.
Chase and I handle all the listing activities, or the majority of them.
Uh-huh.
On our team, our operation is split. Chase and I manage 95% of the listings, and then we have 6 full-time buyer's agents, because we know that you should do one thing and do it really well.
Mm-hmm.
So our buyer agents, they would smoke a buyer far better than I would in terms of real customer service, knowing the market, having seen 16 houses in the last 3 days, and knowing all the houses in a given price range, because they've shown them over the last 3 weeks. More importantly, we have a sales huddle every morning with the entire team. So you bring 9 people together, the listing agent and the buyer's agents, and we always ask, what do you need today? What does every person need today? And if they say to you, 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a pool under $400,000 on the west side of town, 2 other buyer's agents will say, oh, I saw that property 2 days ago. Here's the address. So the whole team working together helps us be more efficient, Ren.
Plus, you create a lot of homeless buyers. You sell so many listings.
Oh, we do.
People actually lived in the home. I know you have a lot of resort property, but you're bound to have created a lot of homeless, which is a pretty. That's a pretty quick sale. If they have nowhere to live.
We tell our clients we're going to make you homeless, and we do. We tell them regularly. We yesterday on Monday we put 6 properties in our contract. We put 2 more this morning. So we're about production. I mean, at least 1 property a day is our goal.
Nice. That is great. Fantastic. What an exciting setup you have there. And you're living in paradise too.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
John, let me ask you this. So, this goes for you and your team. You're calling for hours in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. What is your kind of mindset, and what you try to teach, your team, the mindset to really stay on the phones and not get discouraged? And, when you're really getting hammered and beat up on the phones, how to overcome it?
Okay, great question. So initially when I got started with the prospecting, because I didn't have all the skills, I didn't know my scripts very well, the thing I focused on was I wanted to make 12 live contacts an hour.
Okay.
12 live, not calls, 12 live contacts. And if you can get on a schedule of I'm going to make X number of contacts today, that will then yield X number of listing or buyer appointments per day.
Okay.
So it's really about the number of calls you make. So, but after 15 years, I don't focus on my number of calls anymore. I'm looking for my deal of the day. My job, John Ames, for our team, is find at least 1 deal a day, a listing or a buyer side transaction that I can hand off to our buyer agents.
That's great. That's a good goal to set for yourself. So you do a lot of closes over the phone because you have absentee owners. Do you find that tougher to do a close over the phone? It's like a quick listing appointment almost.
Right. About 30% of our 20 to 30% of our buyers, we will never meet ever.
Right.
So we do the entire listing presentation over the phone. Mm-hmm. You can do it about 10 to 15 minutes. We follow the Mike Ferry script. And by the way, all the scripts are free and accessible on the Mike Ferry website. Has the listing appointment, has the pre-qualification question. So over time, and if you're role playing, which if you want to become really good on the phones, you have to get role play partners. 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, role playing. Our entire team has role play partners, and we do live role play every morning at 8:45 in our call center.
Nice.
Perfect. We're starting to get some question and answer now, and we're about near that time. Amy Mosley has half a dozen questions. I'll pick a couple. She wants to know where you get phone numbers for absentees. That would be Vulcan 7. Do you do any door knocking?
Absolutely. If you're going to put in a long day knocking, there's only so many days where you can put a 6 or 7 hour in on the phone where you just become fried. I mean, you can't even function anymore. So what we'll do, if we're going to hit a long day, come in the call center for 2 to 4 hours, then go out and knock doors, which Chase will talk about. By the way, let me show you how Chase knocks doors. You'll love this. Can you guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
It's got a Segway, huh?
Yep.
That's great.
So Chase knocks doors on a Segway, and I'll let him tell you about the response he gets with that.
Oh, that's entertaining, Blake. Yeah, that'll get their attention.
It's a good conversation piece.
Absolutely. And yeah, he'll have a great story to tell you about that.
That is a great idea. Your listing presentation, people are asking about it. Do you have a particular one you use, or just something you made up? Or
right, I use the standard Mike Ferry script, and you have to remember, I've given over 12,000 listing presentations in the last 15 years.
So it's you've memorized and internalized that. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. So to that point, you got to know what to say. And if you don't know what to say, guys, literally go to the Mike Ferry website, print off the listing presentation, and at least role play and practice it for a while in front of a mirror. But when you go on a listing appointment, I take the script right with me. Literally, the same script you guys can get. I'll take my Mike Ferry book with me, and I'll just say to the clients, hey, I've got a couple of really important questions. I want to make sure I don't miss any. Do you mind if I just ask you these questions? And I always say, yeah, sure. So don't be intimidated about reading the script.
Okay.
Just take it with you.
Great. Good idea.
So let's say when you were newer at that, and sellers will knock you off your script. I'm sure they don't now. How'd you get, because we've all been there. We start out with our script, and then somewhere we get distracted, we get pulled away. What was the progression to getting really good at that and taking control?
It took me the better part of about 2 years to where I got really good at it. And there was one period with one of the Mike Ferry coaches, I had to handwrite the listing presentation, handwrite it every day for 90 days.
Oh my God, your hand must have been aching.
Oh yeah, but you know the listing presentation.
You can do it in your sleep now.
Absolutely. So if you do those things, the script becomes secondary, and the goal is, guys, you have to get them through the script, because the script is going to help you get the client to a closed transaction. Okay, and signing a contract is a logical end to a good presentation. So if you do the listing correctly, you've answered all the questions as part of it, and they're expecting to sign a contract with you.
Absolutely. That's why you're there. Another question from Amy Mosley. Do you, when you're on a phone listing appointment, in your case, there's several of them. You have a lot of out of town. Are you using like Skype or FaceTime or Hangouts or anything like that, or is it strictly by phone?
I just do it by phone. I just put my headset. Everyone on our team has headsets, wireless headsets. Gotcha. So by doing that, you can write notes and do the things you need to do to get all the things prepped, so you can build your listing presentation around that. So hands-free, get a wireless headset.
Okay. Good advice.
Good advice.
Let me do this. Let me meet Chase for a few minutes. Chase has been our team for 3 years. Last year was his first full year in the business. He spent time getting his accounting degree before I let him come on the team. So let's put you on with Chase, and you can ask him some questions, okay?
Wonderful. I think it's good to get a perspective from a newer agent that's gone through it.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Chase. How's it
Chase.
going?
Fantastic.
Good. So you've only been in the business about a year?
Yes, full-time a year now.
Okay. All right. So what was the hardest thing to overcome when you first started calling?
Oh, rejection, definitely.
Okay, so how did you get through that? Because it's a shot at your ego sometimes.
Oh yeah. You know, in the beginning, I just had no idea what to say, and I was getting my butt kicked every conversation.
Uh-huh.
Then it got to the point where I would start to write down every time I got stumped, and I'd role play that situation. And once I started to master that one, I remembered that one, and I always kept rolling it forward. For any time I got stumped, write that objection down, role played it, and mastered it. And it got to the point where when I was still starting in my late teen years, I was being able to hang with some of the top dogs who ran Wall Street companies and Fortune 500 companies, and I was winning the conversation. So
amazing. Okay, so just really going through those over and over and over again until you could overcome those objections. Wonderful. Good.
That's all you can do.
Okay, good. So what's a good piece of advice you could give to new agents? I think that's a really good one. What's another one?
The phone makes me money.
Okay.
So stay on the phone, prospect. Don't call just one time and give up. You can double call, which we've found a ton of success in. If you think about it yourself, if you get a strange number calling you, a lot of times you don't answer it. And if they call again right afterwards, you might think something is up. You probably pick up the phone. So do a lot of double calls. When you get done through your list of calling expireds or Fizbos, whatever it is, start the list again and call right back through them again. Because John and I, we call at the same time. And he'll call a number 30 seconds after I do, and I'll get a no answer, and he'll get the answer often. So call multiple times. I met an agent last week at a Mike Ferry event. It's his third year in the business, and he closed 180 listings last year.
Wow.
Holy crow.
That's amazing. Just calling expireds and Fizbos.
Yeah, he says he actually does very little Fizbos, but he's calling expireds 20 times a day for the first 5 days. And he actually calls them and leaves follow-up typically 30 times until he actually gets a listing or the appointment set, whatever it is. But he has 20-second conversations for lead follow-up, and he gives them just some piece of advice or a tip or something beneficial every time, and it's only a 20-second conversation.
He's
and
pretty driven. That's a driven person. That's very driven. And when you think about it, Chase, a lot of people watching, because this is true for all of us. We get on the phone, we make some calls, we make a few more calls, and then one of two things happens. Either you run out of people to call, that's a set of problems, or number two, you start getting this chatter, what do they call it? Creative avoidance behavior. I think I need some coffee. Maybe I need to take a little break. I need to work on that pending. Oh my God, I got a buyer coming in at 2:00. All that stuff. How did you break yourself of the call reluctance, the voices that start showing up after about 2 or 3 hours of calling? How do you get rid of that?
So you need to know your numbers. Once you actually break it down to know what each new contact is worth to you and what your hourly rate is for prospecting, I cut out a piece of paper and update it every once in a while once my number is getting better. And I put on one corner of my computer what each new contact is worth to me, which each new contact is worth about $100 to me, whether it's a slam in the face and it's a 2-second phone call. Statistically, that's $100 to me. And nice. I'm making about $500 per hour prospecting. So in my other corner, I put in $500 per hour. And anytime I get that creative avoidance, I look at that number and say, it's worth making the next call. Nice.
That's a great strategy.
And the other thing I notice is the environment that they're in. I mean, look around. John gave us a tour of that. How can you, it's easier coming into an office like that to do what you need to do than someone, it's sort of like the treadmill next to the washer and dryer. You're probably not going to stay on it as long as you would at the treadmill at the gym. That's the gym. Exactly right. Everybody's there. They're making calls. They're excited. There's high energy. It's easier to do it a lot longer there than solo in an environment that's not designed for it. So
exactly.
It's a beautiful setup you've got. That helps.
Thank you. When we walk in here, we know our only goal and the only thing we're doing here is making phone calls.
Nice. And I think that chair helps. It looks like a race car driver chair.
Yeah, this is John's captain chair.
Okay, the captain chair. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, that Segway's hilarious.
And it works. Actually, on Friday, I had two elderly women. I obviously in the suit and tie, and two elderly women thought it was actually a push mower. So that was pretty interesting.
Did they want you to mow their lawn?
A push mower.
Yeah, they said, I didn't know if you're trying to sell my house or convince me to mow my lawn. That's what they said.
That is so funny. Well, we're getting near the bottom of the hour here. Any other last things we need to cover? Any of you, Chase or Carly?
Yes.
Or anything? Any last thoughts, Chase?
I've got a quick one.
Yeah.
I swear by Vulcan, we've used all kinds of data sources and lead sources like Vulcan, and Vulcan has the best numbers. We get the fewest aunts and uncles and cousins and relatives than any other lead source that we've tried. You guys have the best numbers, and we get to the real seller, the real contact, quicker than anybody does.
Nice. And we started pushing in work numbers about 90 days ago, so hopefully those are helping too. Good?
Yes.
We appreciate the plug. That's very nice. Speaking of that, I've got to do one plug for the lead gen group because it's a big audience. We have 47,000 people part of that. So if you want to get involved with them, they are facebook.com/groups/got-objections. Also, I want to mention that Aaron, who runs the group, he's a real giver. He helps people go from good to great through his Expired Mastery Elite.com program. And finally, if you're watching on Facebook and you're not involved with Vulcan 7, make sure to sign up at vulcan7.com/lead-gen for a special price. So we want to thank everybody for being here and thank Chase and John. And go buy you need a second home. Go get a nice home. Go up to St. George. Just go check it out. Go on right now and look at property. Go online and look at property through there. And then and get excited. Go up there and enjoy a weekend up there and go buy a home, a second home. You deserve it.
You deserve it.
And if you take one or two more listings a month as a result of this, you can afford it. So get up to St. George, everybody. So I guess that's it for us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. I think that was great. I'm hoping everyone got a lot out of it. I definitely did.
And if you did your job like John and Chase did, make sure to go get to the freezer and pick up some delicious Grater's mint chocolate chip.
And John has one more thing.
Pardon?
John has one more thing for you guys.
Yes.
Hey, Ray, I just want to mention one last thing, the fact that, our businesses, we have strategic business partners.
Yes.
With Vulcan, the Ames team has generated over $2 million in income in the last 15 years. So thank you for what you've done for us.
Thank you for all you're doing. And it's exciting,
awesome.
John. It's been a pleasure to know you all this time and to work with you. So keep being successful and inspiring other people to be successful. Thanks for sharing so much today. I hope there are a lot of people that hopefully they got 4, 5, or 6 great ideas, if not more, that can propel them forward no matter whether they're wherever they are in North America. So thanks, everybody.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Thank you.
See everybody next week.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.